Kisma News presents Cricbuzz Live, this auction special. I'm Gaurav Kapur. Oh, no, I'm not. No, not yet. He's coming up for a minute. He went to check on Simon Doull. Simon went for a walk. And so Gaurav said, oops, let me check where Simon is. The good news is Simon is back. Joy is back. And Gaurav just grabbing his coffee. All those players were unsold so quickly that he got his coffee timing a bit wrong. Simon, I know we're going to talk about the auction, but how was the yard?
Well, it was nice to be outside for the first time, but I must say, Harsha, since I arrived, and I'm going back, what's today? I don't even know what day it is today, but I arrived on the 10th midday. It started raining at 2 p.m. on the 10th at, around about 2 p.m. And it has not stopped.
Still raining?
It has not stopped yet. So I do not know what has happened to summer in New Zealand whatsoever. I've been away for over a year. And we no longer have summers in New Zealand. So I'm hoping that things will improve in time for the Women's World Cup, which is coming up in a few months. So I had a walk in the yard in the rain. But when you say yard, you do make it sound a lot like I'm in prison. I am in quarantine, folks. I'm in isolation, which is what I have to do 10 days. Okay, and I don't have an orange jumpsuit.
You did a very good job. Your lawyer did a very good job, but I think it's going to be a bit more than 10 days.
That does look like a name, no, on his collar. That does look like a bit like a name tag, like Kaidi number 112. That's like prisoner number 112.
How was your walk, Gaurav?
I didn't do a walk, but I was sitting on the balcony and try to watch the auction there because I can go outside. And I can even go outside later. And I cannot go outside.
Don't rub it in, please.
I can choose to do whatever I want. Yeah, but I did gobble down my lunch and managed to get my coffee because nobody showed any interest in that last set. They just went, boom, 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 boom. It was like, oh, this story. Yeah, I had to leave it though.
It started so promisingly though, didn't it? I mean, it started promisingly with Khalil and Dushmantha Chamera. And then sort of Ngidi went unsold, and then was almost sort of after Sakaria and Navdeep Sunny, it just kind of petered out, didn't it? People are, what are they saving their money for? I'm trying to look into crystal balls and figure out what all this money's been saved for and where they're going. There's some nice battles though. I think it just shows again, doesn't it, that the Indian quick bowlers are still in high demand, and you have three of them in that little set there, Saini, Sakaria, and Khalil, who were all, there was a little bit of fighting, a little bit of competition amongst them.
Yeah, but Delhi seems to like the left-arm seamers this year.
Yeah. All the left-arm seamers that they've gone and picked up. And Khalil again, I was just surprised that Mumbai didn't go more after him than they did, because as we both know, it's somebody that a lot of time they've had a lot of time with Khalil. And Zahir Khan particularly likes him. So that was a big steal. This Delhi unit is looking a fairly complete unit now. I think they've even, not only have they got their first 11, I think they've got themselves a few backups. There's KS Bharat there, there's Navdeep Singh there. And I don't think both Khalil Ahmed and Chetan Sakaria is going to play together too often. So I think they've got the basic pieces. They're looking far more of a squad than they were looking this morning. I think those four, five extra buys have just added a little more to the squad. So I think they are looking complete. And I thought Punjab has also done very, very well. They've done really well for themselves.
Harsha, for you, the interesting thing that has happened in the last hour?
Not a huge thing. For me, what's interesting is what's not happened, which is the dog that didn't bark. And it's just that Mumbai haven't gone anywhere yet. They've just picked that one leg spin. I'll tell you a little bit about Mayank Markanday, though. It was just sort of 4 or 5 days ago. I was talking to LS Sivaramakrishnan, and I said, look, there's Chahal, there's Chahar, but he studies he studies leg spin like Joy studies volleyball players. and I asked him, so who's your favorite leg spinner among all those leg spinners playing in India? And he said, can you get me some footage of Mayank Markanday? I love watching Mayank Markanday bowl. No. So maybe there's... But remember, Mayank Markanday started with Mumbai, was traded to Delhi, was traded to Rajasthan, and sort of just stayed there. Yeah. So he's going to get something. I think Mumbai is seeing something in this auction that we don't know. They've only got those 2 overseas players. They let Nathan Coulter-Nile go. They let Marco Jansen go. 2 players who were with them last year. So they're going to go big for a lot of overseas fast bowlers. But they also let Odean Smith go. So I hope there's enough players left for them to buy, because the other teams are now starting to complete their squads. As Joy said, Punjab have done a good job. Lucknow have almost completed their side. KKR needs some work, but most teams are starting to complete their squads now.
Yeah, it's the West and the East where other teams are completing their squad, and the West and the East are not even looking at their first 11 yet. So there's some work there to be done for sure. Let's have a look at how much money is left and how many slots need to be filled. We'll just pull that chart up again, and that'll show us what we're talking about, especially with Mumbai, who Joy, this is it's becoming a bit of a worry now, right? I mean, they've only got 10 players.
Yeah, but remember, that's 25 crores they're sitting on. Every time that other people are bidding, they're having less and less money. So they've probably got a list of bringbacks, callbacks, and bringbacks, which is 5 players, 6 players long.
Yeah,
they probably are going to invest in a couple of under-19 guys as well. And I think they're sitting pat, and they've also discovered somebody would have done analytics and figured out that the best buys are in the last, 15 minutes, half an hour of the auction with the bring-back players. And that happens very often. If you remember, KKR in 2014 got Andre Russell as their literally the last player that they picked was Andre Russell. So, you can get stuff like that happening. And the other thing I wanted to quickly talk about was Rinku Singh. And Rinku Singh is a great example of something which is known in behavioral economics as the IKEA effect. Basically, Rinku Singh, Kolkata has invested a lot of time in him. Kolkata has actually gone and had training camps where people like Rinku Singh and all have been developed. McCullum has spent time with them. Abhishek Nair has spent a lot of time with them. And the IKEA effect basically says that if you are partially responsible, so if you buy a bed and you sort of put it together yourself, the value of that bed you feel is much more than if you just buy it. Whoa. So like that, the whole idea is that if you have put work into a player, you always seem to value him more than other teams do, which is one of the things I was thinking about, why maybe teams keep buying players that they've already seen.
IKEA effect. See, you learn something new every day. I feel that Mumbai perhaps could also be doing, Simon, they could also have a strategy where they are not bidding for players in this round that they really want, because when the callback happens, the chance of a bidding war reduces even further.
Yeah, I mean, people are spending money. Other teams are spending money, and they're just sitting there waiting. They've obviously got their eye on certain players that that they want, and those players are being perhaps passed in, and they're thinking, well, our strategy is we're not going to bid, and if one of the players we like is getting passed in, the chances of us getting him cheaper next time or in the callbacks is far higher. If these other guys are continuing to spend money, if we see someone that we like, but we don't like enough to go over the top of, we'll push someone else's bid up and make sure that they're spending more money. They've got a strategy, and you can't fault 5 times champions. It's very difficult. They tend to get it. Stats will tell you that they have got it right about 38 or 40% of the times in this competition. Yeah. So you cannot say that they're doing the wrong thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. Harsh is quite close. He's wearing his blue today. It's not quite Mumbai blue. He's quite close to the camp. Maybe he's got a few more insights than we have. I don't know.
I don't quite understand behavioral economics, but I've seen a few 10,000 meter races. And in the 10,000 meter races, there are the guys who are the bolters. There are guys who are on the 5,000-6,000 meter mark, start to make a move. And there are guys who are just sitting back there. Last 2,000 meters, they start sprinting, go past the finish line. There are also some guys, you wait, and the race just gets over. They don't sprint. So I think Mumbai have got the ammunition, but they're getting into a situation where they don't need a bidding war. They've got a lot of money. They can go big for a couple of people. I think the 3 people they're going to go big for are the overseas fast bowlers. I keep saying that, but the overseas fast bowlers haven't come in yet. Yeah. So it might be a good idea to see in that lot, the lot of overseas fast bowlers, who have we got coming in that overseas fast bowlers lot? Adam Mills.
That's Dooley's prediction for Mumbai.
I looked at Adam Mills and Timil Mills together. They're not going Washane Thomas, Tuskin Ahmed. I'm thinking they're going Adam Mills, Alzari Joseph, and they're saying, we'll wait. We build Geo like that. We build the retail chain like that. We'll wait and we'll get Jofra Archer.
Ooh.
Jofra.
That's interesting. He's not available this season, though, right? Complete. Is that final, Joe?
So that's what they're saving money for. Maybe they're saying we'll build a team this year with 82 crores. And even if there's a bidding war even if there's bidding for Archer, we'll still go. We'll build a team with 82. We'll send. We don't like all these elbow surgeons out there in the UK who keep operating on him all the time. We'll bring him across to our state-of-the-art hospital in Mumbai. We'll get him sorted and have him playing next year.
Harsha, the other thing I was thinking about is who is Jofra Archer's business manager? Because if he has a business manager, he should lose his job. Okay. Jofra Archer has the opportunity not to appear in this auction, get bought up for 3 years, sit tight, come back next year in a smaller auction. A player of the quality of Jofra Archer, if he's even 70% fit, will go for maximum. What can happen this year? He could go for 3 crores. He'll make 3 crores this year, 3 crores the next year, and 3 crores the year after that.
Will he? Joy, sorry, you tell us. If I could just butt in there, will he get the 3 crores this year if he doesn't show up at all?
No, there's a certain amount of the money.
No.
This year he will get the money will not be given, but he's stuck to a 3 crore contract.
Exactly. So he's not even getting that 3 crores. So there's no upside.
Yeah. Why would he even do that? I would say sit back. Next year you have a mini auction. All the top players are gone. They're finished. They're locked away. I'm Jofra Archer. I land up even 80% fit. I won't go for anything less than 10 crores.
Yeah.
Guys, Chennai have money left too.
It's a strange one.
They might go for him too.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Chennai might.
He opted out and then decided to come back in at a late stage when he knew he wasn't going to be available because he basically has. He's dropped his price. I think he's basically said, "I'm happy to just be involved." And like you say, Joy, that price will remain for 3 years, where he could make more next year than he's making in the 3 years in total.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's what I just don't understand. He's not getting good advice.
Yeah.
He's also required for their test match team because he's on the right side of 35. You know, everybody over 35, there's 1,000 wickets have just gone away from English cricket. So they want him to play test match cricket unless Jofra Archer's elbow's been speaking to him and saying, dude, you don't have a test match career. So play only one-day cricket and become available. But it still doesn't explain to me why he's in the auction this year. Unless, as we say, we're talking a different story tonight.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, doesn't add up. Like, he's not going to get paid for this season anyway, so why lock your price? Just come back next year. But anyway, the Indian Pacers been doing well. Indian Pacers did well, very well yesterday. And I think they pretty much all got gigs today, except Ishant Sharma. I don't even think Umesh Yadav has not been picked up as well. But I'm sure they'll find teams by the end of tonight. But there you go. That's how these guys have done. I'm just, it's good to see. And Simon, out of these, who are the impressive ones for you in terms of quick bowling?
Well, I think when you look at Navdeep Sunny, I think that's a really, really good buy. I thought Rajasthan did very well to pick him up for what they bought him for. I think he's a bit of a bargain. I think in the right circumstances, right team, right coaching, be brilliant. Mariwala, sorry? Yeah, 6. I think. What did they pay for him?
2.6.
2.6. I think that's an absolute steal. Absolute steal for a bowler the quality of Sony, and I think he's got a lot more to offer, and he can get a lot better. So I think it was the steal of the last round really, and they're starting to build a bit of a bowling attack together now. The Rajasthan Royals
didn't expect Sakaria to get more bids than Navdeep Sunny. Pleasantly surprised. Good for Sakaria. Pleasantly surprised there, Harsha.
Yeah. Look, Navdeep Sunny is every fast bowling lover's favorite. Yeah. Because you look at Sunny, he just sort of comes in and zoom, and you think, wow, this guy's got so much to offer. I remember watching one of the test matches with Nick Knight, and Nick Knight is an opening batsman. He just looked at him and said, wow, this kid can bowl. But his numbers in T20 have still not done justice to his ability. And I think that's why Simon alluded to the fact that with a good coaching setup, you could get a little bit more out of Saini. We haven't got more out of Saini yet. Whereas Sakaria impressed people enough in his first season to go to Sri Lanka with that Indian team.
Yeah.
So he's got that change up. He's willing to bowl anywhere. Hopefully he'll bowl 130 plus, because if you only change of pace, you get found out within a season. So maybe there's something there with Sakaria. You'll pick him on tracks that grip a little bit, on tracks that are doing well, maybe not as much. Khalil Ahmed had a bigger payday than I thought he would have. So
Yeah, they really went after Khalil, didn't they?
Sandeep Sharma, yeah. Sandeep Sharma, is he still swinging the ball? We don't know. Unadkat is only 1.3. I mean, no one's seen ups and downs. Unadkat was 1 second away from the hammer coming down.
Yeah,
and then so he's got something. He's got something. I think he's good value at that price, even at a little bit more. So he'll be a little. I don't know if he's miffed. He's in a happy position. He's had a couple of very good IPLs. He's married. He's happy.
He's had some big money, Harsha. He's had some massive money.
Yeah, he's had a lot of big money
in the last.
I'll tell you who's happy too.
In particular, the Rising Pune Supergiant, I think, paid something like 12 for him.
Rajasthan paid
for the last two,
quite a bit. Yeah,
and Rajasthan, I think, went to 11 or 12 as well. I think he's had over 20 in the last two auctions. So he's not worried about where he's living or what's going on in his life, I don't think. And knowing Jadev and talking to him even during the last two IPLs, he has a real love for the game, and still a real love and a passion to want to play and to want to do well. He's a really nice guy, and I just wondered at times whether the money had got to him.
Yeah,
I'll tell you who else is happy today for more than one reason is Shivam Dube. I think he's got a seriously good deal at 4 crores, and he's become a father today. So the baby's brought him luck. Good on him. Him. Wish them well.
Yeah, Shivam Dube again, another one. Chennai picked him up for 4 crores. He's somebody again, Joy, who was majorly in India contention, looking at that number 6 kind of all-round slot, right? And then somehow just fell off the radar in the last 18 months.
He's had a really rocky time. Also, never quite delivered in the potential. Shivam Dube has been picked in 2 auctions on the basis of about 5 matches in the DY Patil tournament, which happens just before the IPL. And it's one of those tournaments where a lot of these players play, and he was one of those matches. He just lit it up. He hit 5 or 6 sixes. The word being bandied around was your good friend, the next Yuvraj Singh, because he also has this ability to stand tall, left-hander, big, tall left-hander who looks elegant. But, it's really difficult to step into those shoes. I think the expectations were unrealistic. And, the fact that he's still going for 4 crores, as Harsha says, it's a testament to the fact that there's so many people desperate to, if you're any kind of a quality Indian. So far, Shivam Dube is promise. There's no delivery as yet. The postman has not yet come. Gaurav, he's not delivered. He's just promised and promised and promised. Good thing is he's gone to Dhoni. Okay. And if anyone can convert that promise into something a bit more than that, I mean, Dhoni's a magician at that. So, that you can look at definitely.
Yeah. Harsha. What is clear now, and it's getting clearer with every purchase, is that with 10 teams, there's not enough players at the moment. There's certainly not enough players that have been scouted or that are available. And so it's becoming a players auction, Indian players auction. There's no doubt about that. At the moment, there's more money chasing fewer players. I hope that will change in the next 2 or 3 years as more and more people enter the talent pool, as competition grows. But at the moment, there's not enough. So the existing players are getting really good deals, and good on them. You're born in the right era. Good on you.
Yeah. Talking about good deals and talking about good deals for teams, which one was the goodest deal, the steal deal, the best deal, the IKEA deal for today? We'll go around the table, all 3 of you. Simon?
I think Sunny, and just recently, I think, as I say, I just think the money for what we've seen for quality Indian quick bowlers at times go. I mean, you look at the pinnacle of Deepak Chahar at 14. I think when you pick up a bowler of the quality of Navdeep Sunny for 2.6, I think that's a pretty good deal. I think, as I say, the right people around him, the right coaching. If it's not this year, and I thought the same, and I said the same about Suraj when he was having a tough start. I think with time, he was always going to be a very good bowler. There's just something about him. There's something I like. There's some, you can't coach guys that don't want to bowl fast
Yeah.
And I think Sunny wants to bowl fast. I just don't know whether his body and his action is completely allowing him to do that just right yet. But I think given the right quality and the right time, he's going to be there. So I'd say he's my pick at the moment of quality sort of bargain buys today.
Joy, you?
Look, I would have gone for Saini as well, because I think Saini at 2.6 is a really, really good buy. But if I have to look past that, the other buy that I really like, and because I rate the guy, is you're talking so much about Indian all-rounders and guys who can bat and bowl a bit. Vijay Shankar at 1.4 crores for me is a really, really good buy. Vijay Shankar is a much better player than he's been shown. At 1.4 crores to get somebody who's played for India, can whack the ball, can give you 2 overs. He's not a 4-over bowler, but can give you 2 overs. I think he's a solid buy.
Yeah.
And he's a kind of player. I feel he's got the quality to explode. What happened with Hyderabad and all was he got injured, and then they kept moving him up and down the order because they were not sure how they were batting or how they were lining up. I think if he has a team who gives him a proper slot, whether it's 4 or 5 or whatever it is, I think he's fantastic. He's going to give you some real value.
Yeah, he's done all those things, and he's appeared on Breakfast with Champions. So there's another 1+ for him there. Hashtag not so subtle plug.
I'm telling you what, we're really doing subtlety well today. We're really doing subtlety.
Listen, this is auction day. There's no scope for subtlety on auction day. Okay, there really isn't. Just watch what's going on the screen. Nothing subtle there. But Harsha, your pick. One sec. Let me guess. Is it Adrian Markram? 1 crore base price, 2.6 to Hyderabad?
Have I been going on and on about him for too long?
It's mine for sure.
Did you go that way? I'm going
it's
little
mine.
left field as well.
Yeah.
I think there's been a good buy by KKR. I think Rahane at 1 crore. I mean, Rahane has not set the IPL on fire. I was looking at some of Rahane's numbers. He's joining Shreyas Iyer at KKR, right? Rahane is on 1 crore. Shreyas Iyer is on 12 crores. Their IPL numbers are so similar. You think you've drawn the two chits together.
Wow.
And yet, there's someone whose life is ahead of him. Ajinkya is not coming the end of the world, but it's just that he's going through a bad patch and he's just happy to be in the IPL at the moment. Whereas Shreyas Iyer is going through a bit of a high, but their numbers are not too different, So if you've got a Venkatesh Iyer who's been told, go boom, boom, then it might not, Ajinkya Rahane might not mind opening the batting with him. They haven't got too many others in that opening slot and don't have a lot of money left. So it's starting to look like they might be thinking of him as an opening batsman.
Punjab
exactly. And my point is...
Sorry, Joy.
Yeah. So, no, just saying that as an opening batsman, I mean, what is great for Rahane is 2 things. Not just that he's been picked by a team who probably has to play him in the first 11.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, the last, in Delhi and all, he was not getting his chances. Given what KKR's situation is, if he plays first 11, he's going to give them something.
Yeah, and as opener.
The thing also, Joy, is they desperately need batting. Brendan McCullum's style, Owen Morgan's style last year was keep going. But at the moment, they've lost Rahul Tripathi, who was that kind of player. They've got Shreyas Iyer, who's not that kind of player. So they need someone to go boom at the top, because at the moment, they've got Ajinkya Rahane, they've got Shreyas Iyer, they've got Nitish Rana. Nitish Rana can do that, but Nitish Rana, and they've paid a lot of money for Rana, but the opposition not quaking in its boots, thinking, oh God, what will Rana do? So if Rahane has to play consistently, they need someone else to keep going so that Rahane can play his 125, 130 kind of game, because he's not going to reinvent himself now as a 140 strike rate player. Then if Venkatesh Iyer gets out early and Rahane and Shreyas Iyer are batting, you've got 2 players with similar strike rates, similar averages. So they've got to be a little careful. They need to find another player there.
So is there top 4 then Iyer, Rana, Rane? That's the top 4. There you go. I found a pattern. There you go.
Not bad.
You thought about it for long.
I just saw it on the list right now. I'm not capable of long thought. Goldfish.
I
lose it.
That needs to go out
in 1 second. Punjab have been but it's always there, right? They're always front of line at the shops, going there with their big shopping cart. And today they've had a good morning, haven't they? They've picked up the two big buys of today, which is Liam Livingston and Odean Smith, Simon.
Yeah, they have. Again, it's starting to look like a really nice squad. When you look through and you wonder what they're missing, I mean, they've just bought Sandeep Sharma, so they've got another Indian seam bowling option. But I just wonder whether they're a little bit light on the bowling front. They've got a good batting side, I think, at the moment, a very good top 6, maybe even 7 now. Are they light on the bowling front? You've got Odean Smith. Where are their seamers coming from? If Rabada, as Harsha sort of pointed out, if he's not available early, where's their seam bowling option or the other seam bowling options coming from? Yes, Sandeep. Yes, Ishant Porel. They've got those options there, but maybe just another overseas Ashdeep. Sorry, maybe just another overseas bowler, another overseas seamer to shore up that, and another overseas top order player.
I think they're looking for number 5 as well. I think they're looking for number 5. They've got a very good top 4 if Livingston bats at number 4.
But isn't Shahrukh batting at number 5 then? Yeah. Shahrukh's batting at 5.
May not be. Shahrukh's perfect at 6 because he's got this reputation as someone who comes and finishes. So he'll be, if there's 4-5 overs left at 3 down, he'll come into bat. But you still want that number 5 player there. I think they're looking for a number 5. And Doull is spot on. They need 2 more quick bowlers. How are they doing on spin? Actually, here's something interesting. They've got
no spinners. They don't have any spinners at all.
Yeah, Chahar and Harpreet.
Yep. I'm looking at the auction tracker on the Cricbuzz app, and I think that Lucknow is ready. Stick a fork in them because they're done. Joy,
what do you think?
Yeah, aren't they?
Well, their money's over.
They have no choice. They have to be done.
What
is it? I mean, you were looking at, what were you looking at this morning, Harsha, for them? You were looking at a backup
replacement for Mark Wood. I was looking at replacement for as a backup for Mark Wood. They've got Chamira as a good bowler. Do you like Chamira?
Yeah. Oh, I love him. Absolutely love him. I think he is one of the most improved quick bowlers in the world in the last 14, 15 months. Dushmantha Chamira. He's got genuine gas. Don't worry about that. He's in excess of 140. He's a big, tall lad. I think he's a great replacement. If they wanted to, they could go Chamira, Wood, Chamira. Like you could have a game on, game off almost. Pick your venues. If there's somewhere where you're playing at Wankhede with a little bit more bounce in it, you might play Chamira. If it's a little bit more skiddy, like Pune, you might play Mark Wood. So I got no problem with that. I really like Dushmantha Chamira. I think he's a terrific bowler.
And they can both tonk. I mean, you're looking at 10 from 4, 10 from 5. They're both capable of giving the ball a swing. You never know. I'm just trying to see, can they play both together? They don't need to because they've got Jason Holder, they've got Marcus Stoinis. They don't need to play both. But I still go back to that big Mumbai Indian season. And they won it on the back of Malinga bowling thunderbolts. He was still young. And Mitch Johnson bowling thunderbolts. So there are 2 really quick bowlers at either end. So that is a possibility too, depending on the kind of surface they're playing. So actually,
Quinton's going to play, isn't he? I mean,
they're done. I'm telling you,
Quinton's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Yes. Stoinis is guaranteed.
And then you'd say that Holder is probably guaranteed. Yeah. So you really only
because they've got Avesh as well,
Wood or Chamira. Because they've
got Avesh as well, so that's a help.
Yeah. I think there's probably only room for one of Chamira or Mark Wood, but I don't mind who. Like them both. It's a good side.
As I said,
I don't know. They're right up
done. They're done. They're the closest to being done. I think. Yeah. Stick a fork in them because
they need to pick up 4 more players to hit the minimum. But they'll pick up cheap buys. Yeah. I think they've got maybe one more Indian. They've got Manan Vora as their only reserve batsman, probably one more reserve batsman, one more reserve Indian spinner. Those will be easy. I mean, I'm sure they'll find them. And they'll still put their hand out and try and get a couple of under 19 prospects. They might be bid out of it, but they'll try.
Mahesh Tikshana, the mystery spinner, is going to be with MS Dhoni. The best guy to have a mystery spinner with him, Harsha.
Correct. Dhoni doesn't speak Senegalese. But that may not be such an issue. I mean, for Theekshana, at the stage at which he's no more than a year and a half old. He came to the T20. When he came to the T20 World Cup, he'd only been spotted in Sri Lanka a little before that. I mean, he'd been playing, but he was really good enough, considered good enough, little before the T20 World Cup. So his career is very, very much work in progress. He's probably telling himself, of course I want to play, but even if I don't, God, just give me some time with MS Dhoni. Let me learn my craft.
Yeah.
And also think about next year again. They've got a nice cheap buy who's going to have another probably 8 months, 9 months, 10 months of international cricket, and then he'll go back to Chipok. They won't get there this year. I know we talk at times, and we have this situation about where teams are going to play, and they'll be good at home, or they won't be at home this year, apart from Mumbai. They're not going to be at home. No one's going to get to play at home. We're pretty sure of that. And so, you're looking a year down the track, get back to Chennai where they know it's going to be, slow and low and turn, and Jadeja comes into play. Theekshana will be an absolute handful, I think, when they get back there in the next 2 years, and he'll have another year of international experience under his belt. So, another very, very good purchase, a smart purchase.
But Joy, that's one thing that's happened with the Chennai team, right? They barely got to play at home in the last few years for one reason or another.
Yeah, and in fact, that's the first time that they went down really badly. It was a side constructed for that, and they used to have, all the leggies, everything. They had constructed that side specifically to play in low and slow conditions. And the fact that they managed to adjust after a couple of seasons was fantastic. Of course, after that, now, if they do go back, and that's what I'm saying, when you look at all this, you also look at like Deepak Chahar. They think Deepak Chahar is a possible retention candidate, okay? Almost a surety. Deepak Chahar, Rituraj, you're saying even 3 years down, they should be hitting their peaks around then. Okay?
Yeah.
If Theekshana has 2 really good years, because you look at the rest, either you're guys who are going to retire in the next 3 years, or you have guys who are in the next 3 years going to be hitting peaks. And there are only 2-3 of those guys. So there's Theekshana, there's Chahar, there's Rituraj, okay?
Yeah.
Jadeja perhaps is then on the bubble. At 36, he's possibly, that's the time when you've probably seen the best of Jadeja over by the next 3 years. So it's interesting how they've constructed their side, but a team like them will be looking at the future as well.
Who's batting for Chennai? Ruturaj Gaikwad, Ambati Rayudu, Ravindra Jadeja, Moeen Ali. Who's batting for them? They need more batting.
Yeah, Moeen's batting 3, isn't he? Moeen's batting 3. Shivam Dubey will probably have to bat 5. Dhoni 6, Jadeja 7, Chahar 8.
Let's pull that back. Let's pull the Chennai squad back on screen.
Yeah.
Always got their all round.
And who are the foreigners who are playing?
Well, that's the thing. They just look a little bit light at the top, don't they, at the moment? Whether they're waiting and biding their time.
They are far from them.
Yeah, for an
There are
overseas
2 more international batsmen at least.
Yeah. And I think in an international quick bowler as well. They're looking for with their 15 crore. And I mean, I know that I know for a fact that MS loves Mitchell Santner as well. A lot of time. They got a lot of time for Mitchell Santner. He's New Zealand's best white ball spinner, and he's another option to just complement a little bit of that squad, perhaps. I mean, if Jadeja got injured, if someone else got injured, maybe there. But I mean, I think they need an international quick, an international opening batsman. And maybe a couple of international sort of and those base price players as well. So they're far from finished, but 15 crore, they've got a bit of work to do.
Let's. We've got a question that's come in from one of our viewers on Ask Cricbuzz Live. Let's pull the question up. That common man has asked a question. I don't know what has happened to Mumbai and Chennai. The demand-supply issue has increased the price of players, and teams who retained 4 players look at a disadvantage this auction. Time to increase the purse too. Of course, yes. Yes, increase the purse. It's not my money. It's not going out of my pocket. But Joy,
doesn't matter if you increase the purse.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. It's still the same number of players. It's just the same
Yeah.
players will get more. Doesn't matter if you increase the purse. The same players will still get more.
So that's why I said yes.
It's
Just increase the purse because, hey, let people make more money. That's fine. But Joy, the other question that actually that's interesting. That's the nerdy bit in there. If you can help decode that for us. Teams who've retained 4 players and all at top dollar, are they at a disadvantage?
Yes, they are. Given the kind of pricing that there is, they are at a disadvantage. They are at a disadvantage because if you say 16, 8, 12, the amount of money that's going out, of that 90 lakhs, all the top teams were left with, the 4 retention teams were left with 48 lakhs. Crores. I'm talking crores here. And yes, they are at a disadvantage. I think the comparison, the price to what you can actually get in an open auction, you have far better choices if you're not retaining players. Yet for teams, it's almost too much of a risk to not retain players. So they've kept on to their core. Partly it's emotion as well. But the cold, hard decision is somebody who comes in like a Punjab, who has money to spend and can go after whoever they want to, have far more flexibility. I would have liked, if you see that proportion, what is the proportion? It's 48 out of 90. Okay.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see that closer to, say, 40 out of 90 or 48 out of 100. That would have been closer to this thing. Okay, 40% of your players go for your top 4.
Yeah.
Here, it's almost 45, 46% of your money is going to your top 4.
No, it's more than 50. 48. More than 50%.
48 of 90. Sorry, it's more than 50%. What's wrong with me? Yeah, sorry. It's more than 50. So that's it shouldn't be more than 40%. That's my only point of maximum 50. Not even 50%. I think it's got to be lower than that.
Yeah. Point. Let's look at the teams that kept 4 players. Yeah, Doull, you want to say you've been trying?
No, I just think that there needs to be some new rules, some new things come around, and this was probably a good time to do it at a mega auction as well, just to bring in some sort of loyalty. Because what I don't like seeing in these franchises is chopping and changing all the time. You want your fans to have a core of a team to support and core of players to support. Now, for me, the way to sort of prevent or to help those teams who've got loyalty, genuine loyalty, is that maybe there's if you've been at a franchise for 6 years, let's say 6 or 7 years, you can have a 10 crore pay limit, but you might be able to pay them 16. You might be able to pay them another 6 that doesn't come out of your salary. There's got to be some form of loyalty shown for guys that stay at a franchise for a certain amount of time. A Rohit Sharma, an MS Dhoni, a Jadeja, a Pollard. There's got to be some sort of loyalty, I think, shown for some of these guys when it comes to these big auctions. So if you do retain a player, you're retaining them for the franchise point of view. And you're retaining them because they are the core of your franchise and you've developed them, and they are yellow, they are blue, they are red like Kohli is at Bangalore. I think there needs to be something along those lines that they can look at. Now, someone who's sort of better qualified will explain it more to me, or better than me. But, there are those rules in some basketball leagues around the world. There's those rules in some football things. There's a loyalty clause where, it doesn't come out of the salary caps. And I think there's a way forward to look at it so that your franchise does not lose their identity of some of those key players.
Yeah, Messi for Real. Go forward. Huh? Yeah. Sorry, just one point. I'd made a mistake in the calculations. So 48 out of 90 is what is remaining. So they had lost 42 out of 90, which is around 46, 47%. It's still not 50%, but it's 46, 47%. And I feel it should be much closer to that 40% that we're talking about. This is way too high.
You know what would have happened if you had not clarified this right now? You would have woken up again at 2:00 tonight with this. Right? I got the numbers wrong now. So he's cleared that. It was weighing. It was weighing.
Got a valid point.
Yeah,
Doull's got a valid point. You can't have Messi turning up for Real and Ronaldo for Barca.
It's true. They never.
But let's look at the
counterpoint. Just one counterpoint, Harsha, to that is that this year with 2 new teams coming in and with them paying, close to $1 billion for those teams, they're like, listen, if all 8 teams are going to take 3 of the top players, that's 24, 25 players gone. Why am I paying $1 billion if I can't get any top draw players? How do I build my team then?
True. And I think as the game moves, No, I think as the game moves towards the scouting system rather than an auction system,
Everybody stop.
You'll find that happening more and more.
Sorry, Harsha first.
Sorry, was I frozen for a while?
You were frozen and we all spoke over each other. So your turn now.
No, I said as we move towards a scouting system from an auction system, you'll start finding that happening when the contracts are no longer just 3 years. You spot an 18-year-old kid, give him a 6-year contract. That will happen. The only thing that's coming in the way of that happening is how do you ensure that everybody has an equal purse? Once that's sorted well enough, you could move away from the auction. But let's take that point on that question a little further. 4 teams retained 4 players.
Yeah.
Mumbai has still to finish their team. Chennai has still to finish their team. Kolkata has still to finish their team. Delhi are the only team that started with 4 that look relatively complete, but 3 out of 4 teams are not yet looking complete. But we'll hold on to that till the end of the auction. But there's a hypothesis emerging there at this stage, which we'll have to explore a little later.
I mean, Bangalore didn't retain 4, but they've only got 11 players yet. So I think they're also a team that we're not looking about it. We've got an Ask Cricbuzz live question about Bangalore because obviously a lot of Bangalore fans out there. Why not? Obviously, let's have this question up on the screen. Satya is saying, with the purse left for Bangalore, how does Suresh Raina look for number 3? Satya, are you a Bangalore fan or are you a Chennai fan?
Yeah, well, are you just a Suresh Raina fan?
If you're a Raina fan, you've got to be a Chennai fan. Come on. You just have to. Just come with the package.
Satya, I just don't see it. Honestly, I just don't see a guy who is not playing competitive cricket, who is not prepared to get fit from what I've seen and what I understand, and who is now scared of the short ball. I just don't see it. I'm sorry, and it probably sounds harsh because he's been one of the greats and was an unbelievable player and a serious talent. But I think that is past, and you have to, at times, you just have to look at the reality of the now and not live in the fairy tale of the past.
It's tough. As we said, it's brutal sometimes, but that's it. He's one of the all-time greats, but I don't know if we're going to see him again. We hope we do, but don't know if we will. An unsold player that's kind of piqued my interest, and you'll speak about him, Simon, Ish Sodhi.
Yeah, it's an interesting one with Ish, isn't it? I mean, he hasn't really had a great time of it in the IPL. I know Rajasthan had him as a player / mentor. He's a terrific team guy. He's such a wonderful man in the change room and the team environment. He's been a very, very good performer at T20 level for New Zealand. But I mean, if you're putting him right now in the world against an Adam Zampa, I think Zampa's probably ahead of him, and he's not getting picked up. So I'm comparing. I'm looking at that and thinking, okay, where's he at in the world of leg spin at the moment? I think he's just a little bit behind Adam Zampa, who I think is a class act. If Zamp's not getting picked up, I'm not sure Sodhi's getting picked up.
Let's see somebody. Lungi. Yeah, look, I think Lungi. What is he suffering from? Numbers not as good.
Deepu put out a message on our group, our stats guy, saying that in recent times his death economy rate's about 9.6 or thereabouts. So maybe that is what is going against. That's what's going against him. He's had fitness issues, but you saw that as the Test series progressed, different lengths. I understand, but he started to look fitter and more in rhythm as the Test series progressed.
Yeah, Dirty Deepu did send us that stat, Joy. He did. But these days when you look at death overs and you say someone's going less than 10, it's probably an asset.
Yeah, it is an asset, but you see, that's the problem. They genuinely feel, they look at it, if you look at Chennai, they genuinely feel that Deepak Chahar is not, they'd like to give Deepak Chahar three overs up front because he's one of the few guys who can genuinely swing the ball. He's an attacking bowler up front. If you give him that, whatever happens, Deepak Chahar is not going to bowl more than 1 over at the death because they like using 2 up front with him. Yeah. With Shardul gone, they'll probably use 1 in the middle as well. Which means the other guy, whoever the other guy is, has got to be a bona fide death bowler.
Yeah.
And if you see Ngidi, basically, Ngidi swings the ball well. Ngidi is not a spear in the Yorker kind of bowler. So perhaps what Chennai is looking at is saying that given what we're going to do with Deepak Chahar, we can't afford to have 2 guys who like bowling up front and not enough overs at the death. I think that's something you could look at as a thought as to why. Otherwise, Chennai not taking their own player and going unpicked, there got to be some other logic.
Yeah, of course. Now the big news for the afternoon is that the uncapped players, the India under-19 World Cup winning squad, Those guys are coming up, and that's bound to be interesting, Harsha.
Yes, I only hope people don't go overboard, because as I think Dooley made a very valid point yesterday about Doull Brevis, saying he's hammering people his age. You've got to now see how good they are, because you're looking at them as an investment. Very, very few Virat Kohlis come out of under 19 and are good enough to play straight within a year to be playing for their country. There's very few of those. So these people will be bought with an eye on playing them the next year and the year after that. Give them a go, maybe a couple of games to see whether they fit in and see if there is that kind of player within them. But I wouldn't go overboard on some of these under 19 players.
The easiest one to pick, Harsha, and this is I'm going in a backwards sort of a way here, but the easiest player to play is a Dinesh Bana, because he's a keeper, and he will do his job, and he'll do his job brilliantly well. And you can bet him at 9 if you want to. He can still win you a game. You bet him at 8. You're not asking too much of him with the bat, but you're introducing him into the cycle, into the team. You're giving him that opportunity, and you're just saying, we just want to wicket keep. Don't worry about you batting. You get an opportunity at 8 or 7, whatever, to win us the game, and you do it, good on you. But at the moment, we just want you to be the best keeper you can be. And in years to come, you could bat 5, 4, even, because he's good enough to do that. But that's kind of the easiest introduction, I think. So I wonder whether teams are looking and saying, he might be one of the more expensive buys, Dinesh Bana.
Okay, well,
RCB would probably have been perfect. Sorry, just the last one. RCB would have been perfect, because DK's probably got a year, 2 years still left in him. And that could have been a good handover. But they've already bought Anuj Rawat.
Yes.
Yeah, well, okay, things are back now. I think the auction is underway again. So we're looking at the youngsters, and we'll come back and review some of these other teams as well that we didn't cover. Of course, we're with you all day today on Kisma News Presents Cricbuzz Live. We'll be here to discuss anything big that happens with these youngsters. And big things are definitely going to happen with these youngsters. Remember, we keep talking about the recency bias. They just won the World Cup. Let's see who goes after who. Sign off now. Simon, Joy, and Harsha. I'm Gaurav Kapur. This is all we have for you right now. We'll be back in a bit. Stay with us.